Jeffreys Bay, South Africa, July 19th, 2015. It was the final of the J-Bay Open, one of the biggest events in professional surfing. Three-time world champion Mick Fanning sat on his board, waiting for a wave. Millions were watching live. Behind him, a dark shape broke the surface, a great white shark. On camera, you can see the water erupt. The shark hits him, drags him under, and Fanning disappears for a few seconds. What happened next became legend. He punched the shark, he kicked, he fought back. His leash snapped, and that may have saved his life. Jet skis raced in. The other finalist, Julian Wilson, paddled toward the danger instead of away from it. Fanning was pulled out of the water, not a scratch on him. The final was canceled, no result, no winner. For the first time, a sporting event was stopped because of a shark. The footage was seen hundreds of millions of times. It turned an ordinary surf contest into the most famous shark encounter ever broadcast. And Mick Fanning had survived something almost no one ever does. A great white, head on, with the whole world watching. The Jersey Shore, July 1916, New Jersey, United States. It was a brutal summer. A heat wave pushed thousands of people into the cool Atlantic water. Nobody was afraid of sharks. Back then, most scientists believed a shark would never attack a human on purpose. They were wrong. Over 12 days, a single shark moved up the coastline, striking again and again. 5 attacks, 4 people dead. The first victim was a young man swimming after dark, then another days later at a different beach. But the most shocking part came next. The shark moved 11 miles inland, up a freshwater creek, into a small town called Matawan. It attacked children in water less than 4 feet deep. A 12-year-old boy was taken in front of his friends. A man who jumped in to save him was killed too. The whole country panicked. Beach towns closed their shores. The president was informed. Hunting parties searched the coast for days. A shark was eventually caught nearby, with human remains inside it. The attacks stopped. Decades later, a writer read about 1916 and wrote a novel. He called it Jaws. 12 days, 1 animal, and the fear never left. The Pacific Ocean, July 30th, 1945. The USS Indianapolis had just completed a top-secret mission, delivering parts of the atomic bomb that would be dropped on Hiroshima. On its way back, in the dark, a Japanese submarine fired 2 torpedoes. The ship sank in 12 minutes. Around 1,200 men were aboard. Roughly 900 made it into the water. And then, the wait began. Because of the secrecy of the mission, no one knew the ship was missing. No rescue was coming. The men floated for days under the burning sun in open ocean covered in fuel and blood. The sharks came. Oceanic whitetips and tiger sharks, drawn by the splashing and the dead. Survivors described it in horror, sharks pulling men under, one by one, day after day. They were finally spotted by accident, 4 days later by a passing plane. Of the nearly 900 who entered the water, only 316 came out alive. Exposure, dehydration, and sharks took the rest. It remains the deadliest shark event in recorded history, and one of the worst disasters in the history of the United States Navy. Aldinga Beach, South Australia, December 8, 1963. Rodney Fox was 23 years old and the reigning spearfishing champion of South Australia. He was in the water defending his title when something hit him with the force of a truck. A great white shark had taken his entire torso in its mouth. He felt himself being pushed through the water. He fought the only way he could. He reached out and jammed his fingers into the shark's eye. It let go, but then it came back. Fox grabbed it to push it away and cut his hand to the bone on its teeth. Somehow, he reached the surface. Somehow, he was pulled into a boat. His ribs were exposed. His lung was punctured. His stomach was open. His arm was torn down to the bone. It took more than 460 stitches to put him back together. He should have died. He didn't. But here's what makes Rodney Fox different. He didn't grow to hate the shark. He spent the rest of his life studying them, filming them, and protecting them, inventing the very first shark cage to see them up close. The man a great white tried to eat became its greatest defender. Tunnels Beach, Kauai, Hawaii, October 31st, 2003. Bethany Hamilton was 13 years old and already one of the best young surfers in the world. That morning, she was lying on her board, left arm dangling in the water, waiting between waves. She never saw it coming. A tiger shark, estimated at 14 feet long, took her arm just below the shoulder in a single bite. The water turned red. She stayed calm. Her friends paddled her to shore. Someone used a surfboard leash as a tourniquet. By the time she reached the hospital, she had lost over half her blood. She survived, but everyone assumed her surfing career was over. She had other plans. Just 1 month later, she was back on a board, learning to surf again with one arm. Within 2 years, she was winning competitions against surfers with two. Her story became a book, then a movie, Soul Surfer. Bethany Hamilton didn't just survive one of the most famous shark attacks in history. She turned it into proof that losing everything doesn't always mean the end. Bukan Kano, Réunion Island, September 19th, 2011. Réunion is a French island in the Indian Ocean. Beautiful, tropical, and surrounded by warm water. Matthew Schiller was 32, a former vice world champion in bodyboarding, and a beloved local surf instructor. That day, he was in the water just off a popular beach when a bull shark attacked him. People on the shore watched in horror. Rescuers rushed in, but the shark didn't let go. His body was never recovered. Schiller's death was not the first on Réunion, but it was the one that broke the island. It marked the beginning of what locals call the shark crisis. In the years that followed, attack after attack hit the same coast. Surfers and bodyboarders again and again. The cause was debated for years. A marine reserve, murky water, a growing bull shark population? The response was drastic. Surfing and swimming were banned across much of the island. That ban still stands today. One of the most beautiful coastlines on Earth became one of the most dangerous, and an entire island had to give up the ocean it was built around. Boa Viagem Beach, Recife, Brazil, July 22, 2013. Bruna Gobi was 18. She was from Sao Paulo on holiday in Recife. She was standing in shallow water, less than 20 meters from the sand, where families set up umbrellas and tourists take photos. A bull shark attacked. It took part of her left leg. She did not survive her injuries. She died on an ordinary beach, in an ordinary moment, in front of an ordinary crowd. But Bruna's death wasn't random. Recife is one of the most dangerous shark coastlines in the world, and it wasn't always. In the 1980s, Brazil built a massive port complex, Suape, just south of the city. To build it, they destroyed the coastal mangroves, the exact nursery where bull sharks breed and raise their young. The sharks lost their home. They moved toward the city's beaches, drawn by polluted rivers carrying food into the sea. In 1992, the attacks began. They never stopped. The port still operates. The mangroves were never restored. And on Recife's beaches, the danger Bruna Gobi died from is still waiting today. Hurghada, Egypt, June 2023. The Red Sea is a dream destination. Warm, clear water, world-class diving, and resorts packed with tourists. The brochures never mention sharks. That June, a young man swam just off a beach near Hurghada. A tiger shark appeared. What happened next was filmed by people on the shore. The footage spread around the world within hours. His own father was nearby and could do nothing. He did not survive. Egyptian authorities closed the beaches, searched the water, and caught a shark soon after. But the question stayed. Why was a tiger shark hunting that close to shore? Experts pointed to familiar causes: overfishing pulling sharks toward the coast, boats dumping waste into the water, and tourists feeding wildlife they were told never to touch. The Red Sea attacks are rare, but when they happen in the last place anyone expects: crystal clear water, steps from a resort. From a live surf final in South Africa, to a torpedoed warship in the Pacific, to a beach in Egypt, the ocean has never really been ours. We're just visitors in it.